Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Suikoden Part 2. My name is Mamba and joining me is Marco, with whom I have just obtained 50,000 bits. It's very easy to do, it took me about 5 minutes. Using the pattern I showed you last time. That's all you need to do, and that will bankroll our next step, which is to get armor and level up. So I have two goals right now. One is to get Mamba and Ted both to level 8, and the other is to not die. It's not really my second goal, but it's a functional goal right now. My real goal is to upgrade my armor and weaponry, and this is the city at which we can do that. So this city is called Lenin Camp, and we're not really supposed to come here for a little while. It's like the third town we'll really come to after Rockland, and it's like a couple hours into the game. However, it's good to come here right away for this reason. This little building right here with the hammer sign is a blacksmith, and you'll want to look out for them throughout the game. And the reason is because you can use these blacksmiths to upgrade your weapons. Now, the weapon system in this game works basically like this. You don't ever buy new weapons, you just sharpen them to the point where they become better and better and better. And the way the game prevents this from being abused is it chokes off progression at certain points, so certain blacksmiths are better than others. So for example, this being the first blacksmith in the game is also the worst blacksmith in the game, and can only upgrade the weapons to level 5. It can go all the way up to level 16, and only one blacksmith in the game can raise it to level 16. It gets exponentially more expensive. So, for example, you'll notice that right here, it costs 300 bits to upgrade Mamba's staff to level 2. We're gonna spend that money. Now, it costs 600 bits to get it to level 3. So, in these two level ups, I spent 900 gold, or bits. And now it's 1500 bits, which is significantly more than the last two combined. But we're still gonna do it, because that's why we went to Marco. Is for this reason. Now it's 2700 bits. Again, it's almost as much as the total amount we've spent. In fact, it's a little bit more. Just for one more level. So now, because we've gotten it to level 5, the name of our weapon itself has changed to the Dragon Fang Staff, and it's significantly better, and it should be capable of taking out any enemy in the surrounding area in one attack, which is incredibly crucial at this stage. Ted, we don't really need to upgrade his weapon, but because I've done Marco, I'm going to do it. I'm going to upgrade his bow. Now, the next step is doing what I always do, which is go into every item shop and just look at what they have. You always want to do this. It's a good habit to get into, and this place I don't think has anything new, but it's still worth doing just in case. You never know what an item shop will have. Sometimes they'll have some really interesting items. Sometimes they'll have like quest items that you wouldn't remember where it was or whatever. So it's important to at least look at it. Now here's the armory, and the armory is our real destination. We want to get the pointed hat for Mamba here, and we want to get the pointed hat for Ted. Now Ted has a robe, and that's not purchasable, so don't get rid of it. Just keep it on him. We can also buy the brass armor for Mamba, and the cape, 2 capes for Ted. Now, what you always want to do once you buy armor is you want to sell your old armor. So Mamba's going to get a pointed hat and a brass armor, which means that that's going to replace the head slot, which is our bandana, and the tunic, which is the, chest slot, armor slot, whatever you want to call it. Ted, you don't want to sell anything because all he's just getting is new armor. So we're going to upgrade his armor, and notice our defense is going to be much higher. His defense went from something like 23 to 33. Ted, his defense is 11. Now it's going to be something like, I don't know, 20. It's significant. It doesn't seem like that much at this stage of the game, but it will save our lives, because most enemies at this stage can either 1 or 2 shot us. So we need to survive. Now that we've done this, we're basically ready to fight. I want to go into this inn and just save the game. I haven't taken any damage, and this inn is too expensive for us. It costs 70 per person. It's not really too expensive for us, but it's way more expensive than any other thing we've done. So I don't want to deal with that. Saving the game at this stage of the game is really important. This is the only part of the game that I consider to be really challenging, is this little side quest when you're just Mamba and Ted walking around outside. Because once you win a battle or two, once you get lucky and don't, fight a bunch of these kinds of battles where they can kill Ted in one hit, once you get a little bit lucky and don't fight those kinds of battles, I'm going to use a medicine on Ted just in case. Once you get lucky and don't fight a lot of those kinds of battles, you will be able to level up very fast. I'm just going to head into Gregminster for one moment. And I'm going to explore these towns the next episode, like Gregminster for sure. Okay, so I think we can defeat these crows. We have upgraded our weapon. We should be able to kill this guy. Of course, Ted is gonna die, so that sucks, and they keep dodging me, so I'm gonna run. Even two crows can defeat us at this point, just because their agility is very high and they dodge your attacks really easily. Basically, anything that has wings is very difficult to hit with basic attacks. It's probably safer to use something like magic against a lot of those characters. So at this stage, we're looking for a very specific enemy. Hopefully, I find it shortly, because every moment I'm out here fighting random encounters that aren't these enemies, I'm pushing my luck, as you can no doubt see. So these two red ants can kill me instantly. The armor saved my life there. I would have died if it wasn't for that armor. I'm gonna take a slight risk and not heal up after that. Yeah, so this is the most challenging part of the entire game. If you can make it past this, and again, you don't have to do this side quest. If you don't do this side quest, this part is not very difficult either. And my goal is to get Mamba and Ted to level 8. Level 8 is sort of the magic number, and there's a very good reason for that, and I'll show you it later in this episode. Okay, so these are the enemies that we can defeat. The bonbons. Now, there are 3 of them, so that might be a little bit of a problem, but I'm gonna try to... Okay, so they don't do any damage really to Mamba, so we should be okay. We kill them each in one hit. That's cool. Hopefully he doesn't attack Ted. He missed Mamba entirely. Good. We defeated them. Now, we should get to level 3 from this battle. Ah, level 4. Alright, even better. So, now that we're level 4, you can see just how much better we are. We've doubled our HP. We basically aren't in that much danger anymore. And once I save at the inn, we should be more or less free to just grind up to level 8. And I'm gonna demonstrate just how much stronger I am, especially since I have the weapons upgraded. So I'm also gonna save just because that fight can take a long time to find. Usually you'll just fight one of those characters, the bonbons. Those are basically the slimes of the game, and if you've ever played Dragon Quest or anything like that, you'll know what I'm talking about. They're the enemies you can defeat at the beginning, and those are the ones you want to look for. Now, the enemies near Gregminster and near Rockland are the weakest enemies you'll ever find in the entire game. If you go down towards Lenin Camp, you're gonna have a higher percentage chance of fighting more difficult enemies. So I think I can defeat these guys. I'm gonna risk it. The mosquitoes can poison you, which is a big problem, and Ted... Okay, so the mosquitoes dodge, so I'm just gonna run. I don't want to deal with that business. I'm gonna use a medicine on Ted just cause. If the mosquitoes hadn't dodged, I wouldn't have done anything, but you can see that it's can be very challenging to hit those enemies that are flying around. They have a very high dodge stat. I think it's the stat you're actually looking for is maybe, I don't actually know. I think it's probably skill. Okay, so here's a single bonbon. We should easily be able to defeat this and get level 5. Yep. We got level 5. Now we're even stronger. We have 57 HP. The HP at this point is really the most important stat. Especially since we've upgraded our weapon, and so we're able to kill anything in one hit. These crows should be no problem now. Killed that guy in one hit. It only did 1 damage to Ted. This crow is a chump. Of course, he keeps dodging my attacks, so that's the risk of fighting those guys. So now, we were essentially home free with those enemies. Now, the main enemy that's around here that can still defeat you is the boar. If you see a wild boar, even at level 5, I don't know if you can win. Like, you have to use your judgment. If he's with other enemies, you should run. If he's by himself, you can maybe beat him. That's a judgment call. He can still do a sizable amount of damage, something like 20 or 30 damage with a single hit. So the boars are serious, like, be aware of those guys. Another thing I wanted to note is this little swamp here is the demarcation line for the tougher enemies, so down here are a little harder enemies. I'm going to go back up here because I'm only level 5. Once I'm level 8, it won't be any problem. One thing I did want to mention is, and talk about is, okay, so here's the wild boar. So it's a wild boar plus 2 crows. Now, I'm able to run away with 100% certainty. Notice how the run command has been replaced with the let go command. Basically, this let go command means that you are 100% guaranteed to run. And so the reason we're trying to get level 8 is so that the area we have to pass through in order to get this item, we can just use let go on every enemy, because the enemies there will kill us. They're much stronger than these boars and crows and stuff we're fighting. I'm going to try to defeat these crows first. We should be fine and be able to defeat these guys just because I have the let go command, and if things go south, I can run. I'm going to have Ted attack the crow because it seems like he's able to hit it easier than Mamba. So Ted just took 36 damage to the face from that boar. I might not be able to even kill it this turn. The boars have a pretty significant amount of HP. Okay, they have around a little over 50 HP. But they give a good amount of experience, so they're actually worth fighting at this stage. I'm going to go ahead and go to Gregminster and stay again at the inn. And I'm going to meet you back at the inn here, and that's when I will have, you know, my new... I will be level 8 and be ready to go. So, I'll see you then. Okay, we're back, and... since last time, I just got Mamba and Ted up to level 8, I stayed at the inn, we're all refreshed and ready to go, so let's head out. So now that we're level 8, we can do the meat and potatoes of this little side quest. Basically, all that you need to do is be able to make it through this mountain pass, which is essentially a dungeon. And the reason you want to be level 8 is because you're able to let go most of the enemies on the mountain pass. They are significantly stronger than the enemies you'll fight here on the world map, and so as a result, you want to be able to let them go. And with 100% certainty, there is one enemy that we will not be able to let go, and so if we see them, we should try to fight them. And they do a lot of damage, they are a little bit dangerous. If you want to be 100% safe, get to level 9. This is the enemy. Giant snails. This is what we're fighting here is the most dangerous fight we will fight on this mountain pass. So if you can defeat these guys, you should be okay. They have about 100 HP, and we got lucky with a critical hit, and we were able to kill one right off the bat. But you saw that it did 41 damage to Mamba there. And he's basically almost dead. So that fight could have been much worse, but we get a lot of experience for it. If you want to be 100% safe, make sure you get to level 9. I wanted to get to level 8 just for a little bit more challenge. Level 9 is the much safer way to go. So there's basically 4 different kinds of encounters you can get. One giant snail is totally doable. In fact, even if you're level 9, I suggest fighting it. Very easy to kill, not much threat, and you get experience for it. So that's actually, like, really nice. 2 giant snails, much more dangerous. 1 giant snail, not a big deal. So here's another giant snail. Another thing I wanted to mention is this bribe command. Another reason to go to Marco right away is that this bribe command is a significantly higher percentage chance that we'll be able to escape. I don't need to use it. I don't like to use it. I've only used it once or twice ever when I played this game. But at this stage of the game, it can be pretty good. So that's another reason why I say, hey, go to Marco. And that thing dropped a defense rune piece, which is a permanent defense up. Another reason to fight the snails. We're going to use that on Mamba. For sure. Those things are very, very valuable. And generally, I always use this. Okay, so this is one of the main reasons I wanted to get to level 8. Notice these killer slimes. They are actually bad news and can kill you very easily. There are 3 of them, and at this stage of the game, we do very low damage to them. So we want to let them go. We don't want to fight those guys. And yet they are not the most dangerous fight you'll fight on this little mountain path dungeon here. Also, I want to, just to be safe, I want to heal my guy up. Let's not mess around here. Okay, now here's a little building, but the door is locked. We'll be going in there much later. This is the most dangerous battle on the mountain. 6 slasher rabbits. These guys will completely annihilate you if you're just Mamba and Ted. So, let them go. That's why you need a level 8. You basically can't do this mountain path without levels. I mean, you could, if you got really lucky with all your runs, and you were willing to spend a lot of money on bribes, you could do it as low as level 1 maybe, but I don't think it's smart. Just get level 8, let everybody go. It's it doesn't take long. Once you get a little lucky at the beginning, you need to basically fight one of those bonbon enemies. If you can't, they're really the only enemies you can handle at the very, very beginning. We're just picking up all the treasure chests on this mountain pass. We're going to be coming back through here later. However, I like the fact that we can get these treasure chests now. They will give us a little bit of an advantage. And we're starting to run out of space. So we're going to need at least... Okay, so that was just 1,000 bits. So let's fight this snail. Ordinarily, I would cut these battles out, like I said, but they don't take that long. So later in the game, I'll be cutting them out, but these ones, you know, I got level 9, so now I can run from even those snails, which is nice. I'm gonna go ahead and use my medicine. I can use this medicine 3, which I'm probably gonna throw away in a moment. It's sort of frustrating and good thing about this game is that the medicines always come in quantities. The problem is that if you use any of it, you have to throw it away. You can't sell it. You can't do anything with it. So always prioritize using ones that you've already used. So this is the goal right here. This little house, this guy right here. You two came all the way here by yourselves. That's incredible. I'll give you something nice as a reward for your courage. And it gives us a prosperity crystal. That is an incredibly rare and valuable rune. I think it costs something like 60 or 70,000 bits, whatever you want to call it. So it's actually really, really good to get. And we're going to use it in lieu of a lot of Marco stuff. You don't need to get it, like I said, because of Marco. And there's another way later in the game, much later in the game, to make even better money than Marco. It's significantly less reliable, but it's much better money than Marco. So you never really have to get this, and you never really need the money you get from battles, but it's convenient for a portion of the game, and I think that that portion of the game is the most challenging portion of the game, in my opinion. So it's nice to have, because at that portion of part of the game, it's very, very hard to get money, and you do need a lot of it to be relatively successful. That was it for this part. I hope you guys enjoyed it. In the next part, we're going to be going on to the main story, and we won't be stopping the main story for quite some time. This was the first little side quest you can do, and the next is probably like 5 or 6 hours into the game later. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.